Good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream. I'm going to do our February the 4th Spiritual Principle a Day in a Meditation. I hope you're doing well this morning. We have here, the title of the meditation is Courage in the Face of Self-Doubt. There are times when we must find the courage to be the lone voice on an issue or stand up for principle against a strong majority. Guiding Principles, Tradition 2, Opening Essay. Tradition 2 reassures us that as individual members, we don't need to have all the answers. But sometimes we do have an answer to an issue that comes up in our group, and we're sure it's the right one. It's well thought out, it's aligned with our traditions, its airtight adherence to our primary purpose of carrying the message is sharp as an axe blade. It's undeniably the right answer, except no one else seems to view the issue the way we do. The group's conscience seems to be veering away from logic, principles, and the spirit of NA. So, do we go with the flow or make waves? When we were using, many of us live by the old standby, go along to get along. Even though we may not have agreed with what was being said or done by those around us, we lack the courage to stand up for ourselves, our beliefs, or other people. Working a program helps to reveal what our convictions are and how they're aligned with NAs. In a group situation where going with the flow might be the easier choice, we, first of all, check our motives honestly to make sure we're driven by our common welfare and not our ego. We ask our higher power to help us find our voice, shaky as it might be in the face of a strong majority. Courage is the strength to stand up for what we believe in. Courage helps us beat back self-doubt and fears of disappointing or angering others. It keeps us engaged, even open-minded, when our right answer is, in the end, sidelined by the majority. Humility can steady us, no matter which way it goes. And once we find the courage, we can continue to be emboldened to keep using our voice and standing up for principles, while inviting in a higher power to influence our group decisions and staying out of the result. I ask for the strength to practice courage and to change the things I can. I know what I believe in and will have the courage to stand up for it, and the willingness and humility to accept the outcome. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you, God. Grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference just for today, please, and thank you. So we're talking about having the courage in the face of self-doubt, or having courage, yes. So one of the things that in particular here we're talking about is when you have vetted out your opinion, you have vetted out your thought process about a particular situation, in a group setting, a business meeting setting, an area, and you've reasoned based on what you've come up with, vetting it out, that the way you're looking at this is sound. I mean, everyone can have a great opinion, but not every opinion is necessarily the one that best represents Narcotics Anonymous. One of the things I think about a lot of times when I am thinking about my opinion, I'm thinking about inclusivity. Is what we're about to do or thinking about doing inclusive of everyone? Or does it just target one set group of individuals to make them feel included, but then alienate everyone else? Right? So a big topic here is now whether or not we're going to replace the word God with higher power in all of our literature. That's a big topic. And I think to myself, who does that suit? Who does that who does that serve for their interests, right? To change all of that for who? Right? So that's what I think about, right? So I don't think it's an issue to make it sound more inclusive, right? But we do actually use higher power quite a bit in our literature. And we use the word God quite a bit in our literature. And we use a power greater than ourselves quite a bit in our literature. I think that's all inclusive, right? I think to take one word out and then switch it to one particular term is inclusive for some, but I don't think it's all inclusive, right? I don't see myself vibing with that at all. And so when I think about terminology or I think about opinions and topics that come up in business meetings, I think about, is it all inclusive? Or does it just suit one particular group of people, right? To make them feel better about joining, make this more of an attraction for just them. But then in doing that, do we cast everyone else on the outside to just do that? Or is there some medium ground? And to me, that is what I look at. That's what I lean towards, because that's my personality. But someone else will have a different opinion. And so what happens when you vetted out your opinion and your opinion is right, but the majority do not see it that way? Do you just dummy down and act like what you're thinking doesn't deserve to be heard? Now, I think it deserves to be heard, but not with a lot of fanfare, a lot of yelling and screaming. And I don't believe in that. And so there's a way to do the right thing for the right reasons, right? And how I present something is a part of the right thing, right? Yeah, I could be totally making sense and being such a jerk about the way I'm presenting it that everyone is thinking, wait a minute, this is the conflicted message here. I was just in a business meeting like that yesterday. People were taking pot shots at one another, saying very inappropriate things, implying rather very inappropriate things. And it was all of this harm being created. And even if the comments that were being made were accurate, the way that they were being presented was very, very, very harmful. Like my heart just ached for the people that were being attacked. And then some of the same people that would make these comments would come back with comments like, let's do the serenity prayer. I'm thinking, do the serenity prayer now? After all of what you've just done, we want to just dial it back and okay. And so a lot of times what we want or what we're thinking, it may actually be the right thing to do. But we negate it all by our presentation. And we cause so much harm that a lot of times I just, it's like my spirit just shakes on the inside because I'm wondering, how do you regroup from that? How do you cause this level of harm and get out of the corner you backed yourself into clean? How do you? Well, we've been given a way to make amends, but you first got to know the exact nature of your wrong, right? You got to know what character defect you're operating out of. And when you get out there and you jump out there with that stuff and you find yourself in the heat of the fire with it because you're presenting it wrong, yeah, the moment of silence might need to happen, but it should not necessarily come from you because you haven't even figured out what's going on with what you're thinking. right? You caused a lot of harm there. And so I get it. I get it. And I want for you to get it that you shouldn't be quiet all the time. You shouldn't be a doormat all the time. But at least when we're stepping out in faith and having courage in the face of our self-doubt, let's make sure we're presenting it in such a way that the blowback behind it isn't increased because of how we presented it in such a negative way, right? Make whatever it is you need to say or do palatable, just the same way that you would want it, so that you can really consider it and not necessarily consider the messenger. You're able to consider the message because it was presented in a manner that was palatable. That's what this is about, is being able to have strength to practice courage to change the things that you can and what you believe in, and have the courage to stand up for, and that you would be able to do it in a way, right, that even if it's not considered, you haven't caused more harm in the process, right? And I just felt like so many wounded soldiers left the field of the business meeting yesterday. And quite frankly, that should never be permitted or allowed, right? Whoever is chairing the business meeting should always be in a position to speak to the atmosphere of recovery and remind us of the 12 concepts of service. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. I hope that you will have a beautiful day on purpose. I intend to talk to you soon.